Hello everyone and welcome back to another Growing with God video. Today we are going to attempt to answer the question, did Jesus Christ care about everybody equally? So basically there is a common notion that Jesus Christ just loves everybody equally no matter who they are or whether they even love God or not. And verses like John chapter 3 verse 16 and Isaiah chapter 45 verse 22 also suggest that Jesus Christ, loves everyone and he'll try to save everybody who lives on this earth no matter what they do. But this video aims to answer whether this is actually a true idea or not. So, what is the truth of the matter? Well, the truth is, Jesus Christ does want what's best for everybody. This is why he died for the sins of mankind in the first place, if you read John chapter 1 verse 29. But he doesn't exactly care for those people who choose not to follow the laws of God in their own lives, because Christ's blood doesn't act as some kind of free pass for us to just sin as much as we would like, as Jesus Christ didn't die for our daily sin that we commit, but instead died for that original sin that Adam committed, that we inherited. Thus, if we actually want Christ's blood to matter in our lives, we have to actually repent of our sin and stop, sinning and do the will of God. And there are many people in the Bible who were not receptive to Christ, and thus, because of the reason I just mentioned, he disliked them. Like, for example, we see Jesus Christ's dislike for the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 23, specifically verse 33, which reads, "Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?" And plus, we can also see Jesus Christ once again disregarding them in Matthew chapter 15, verse 14, when he said, let them alone, referring to how he disregarded them and didn't really care about their opinions that much. But Jesus Christ also showed love to certain other people, like Mary, in Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42, because people like her were receptive to Christ's message. So those are the kind of people who Christ really likes. But this idea that Christ just loves everybody no matter what they do, where did this exactly come from? Well, the reason why people usually see Christ as someone who just loves everybody equally is because when he was on earth, he tended to gravitate to the lower people of society who were seen as outcasts, the lepers, the tax collectors, people like this. And many of the Jews didn't like him for this. They saw it as unclean, if we read places like Luke chapter 5 verse 30. But the reason why he did this, that we shouldn't ignore, is because he did this in the hopes that he could convert them to forsake their old ways, if we read the later verses after Luke chapter 5 verses 31 and 32. And Christ chose these people over the nobles because he noticed that these kinds of people were often more meek and receptive to changing their ways more than the Pharisees and the scribes and the elders. And it was for this reason that God gave people like this to Christ. If we read Matthew chapter 11 verses 25 and 26, where it says, "I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight." And he also later called all meek people to worship him in the verses after this in Matthew chapter 11 verses 28 to 30, because once again, they were the most receptive to his message. However, there are many people who did not care about Christ's message and were not receptive to it. And thus, Jesus Christ didn't really care about them as much as the people who did really care about his message. Like, for example, Mary and the brothers of Jesus, as we see in Matthew chapter 12 verses 46 to 50, where he discarded them. But many people still ignore things about Christ like this and try to, hide under Christ's supposed all-loving nature to continue in their sin, or say things like, oh, if Christ were here, he would support me in what I'm doing, Christ wouldn't judge, stuff like this. But what I'm trying to get at here is that Christ does not just love all sinners the way he loves the righteous, but instead he wants them to repent, as we see in John chapter 9, verse 39 to 41. So that's the bottom line. Jesus Christ does still care about sinners in the sense that he wants them to come to God. He doesn't love them in their sin. But if you have enjoyed this video, I'll greatly appreciate if you hit those like and subscribe buttons down below, and also to hit the notification bell so you'll know when new Going with God videos are released. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.